All right. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on and joining. I'm so excited for this session. Focus on a very important topic. I will tell you what this session absolutely is not. This session absolutely is not your productivity hack or your how can I do more with less session. This is not that. We are talking about an incredibly important topic, which is that unpaid second shift that high performing leaders and often women have to carry in the workplace. And for majority of folks on this call, that is a very expensive weight to carry. There are McKinsey studies that show that up to 1/4 of a high performing knowledge worker's time is taken up by administrative work outside of their day job. 1/4 of time. What could you do with 1/4 of time? And if you think about how expensive that is, if we got super conservatives, splitting up that quarter into hourly, and if everybody's time on this call were worth $150 an hour, which we all know for this group is incredibly conservative, that gets into the six figures of lost time every single year that is being shouldered by taking on the second shift. And so we have dedicated this entire series to focusing on outsourcing everything but love. And I'm so excited for our second guest in this 4-week series to be joining us, Madame Carolyn Henry. Thank you
Hi,
so
Esther.
much.
Hi, everyone. Hello, Chief Community. So happy to be here.
We're so juiced that you're here. Really quick to get us started, I do want to quickly review off, and then I'm going to actually hand it over to Carolyn so she can share a bit about her story with us. We'll then go into a bit of a fireside chat. So we've got some questions about Carolyn, her story, and let's really learn about how to start implementing some systems into getting rid of that second shift. We'll then go through some Q&A, so we'll get to have a bit of a roundtable with this group here. And then lastly, I'll walk us through Geoffrey, which is a platform that I co-founded with my husband to be able to help high performers just like you and I and all of us really delegate that second shift completely. And everybody on this call will be leaving with a free gift from Geoffrey, so you can start delegating right away. Without further ado, let's get to Carolyn. Carolyn, can you tell us about your incredible journey and who you are, just so the audience gets to know?
Thank you, Esther. I have had a wild ride. I think a lot of my career path has been unexpected. I never thought 25 years ago, as an English undergrad, Spanish dual major, that I would end up in tech, that I would end up in marketing. I've taken a lot of twists and turns along the way. And I think that takes up so much of who I am and my space and my identity, but it's not all me, right? So I'm a tech marketer. I am a leader. I'm a woman first evangelist. I also am a mom. I have two little ones, a 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And I'm a big sister and I have 7 siblings and I've got obligations for parents and people all over the country, right? And people who I love all over the world. And just a little fun facts about me is I'm a published poet as well as a dancer, as well as this person trying to forge a career in an industry and space that I never thought would be possible for me. And I think that some of what I wanted to share with this group here too is that I'm a first in a lot of my family's history, right? So I am a first grandchild. I'm a first person in my family to go to a 4-year college. I am a first person to step into corporate America and working and having an internship at IBM when I was 20 some odd years old. And one of the first to go to grad school. And I think that can lead to a space where I have to figure this all out on my own all the time. And it can be a little bit isolating. And maybe there are folks on the line who are also firsts. And you get to a place where you don't know which way to go, which is why I'm so glad we have Chief and why we have communities of women to help us and people who are like-minded or in the similar situation. So we don't have to feel that isolation and we can learn from each other. So I'm very happy to be here today to do that.
I love and appreciate you sharing your story. Can you talk about, I really want the audience and all of us to really get an idea of what your full career path was. Like, let's go on a journey. start
Okay.
out from the beginning and walk us through what that path was for you.
Okay, great. I had graduated undergrad in a liberal arts degree from Connecticut College in New London. And I thought, what the heck am I going to do next? So many people went off to New York to become lawyers. That was my path. And all of a sudden, 9/11 happened. And so I had this incredible life-changing moment where many of my friends were in New York. A few people, God bless, were in the tower, but not affected. And I absolutely had a 180-degree turn from there. I did not go to New York. I did not pursue a degree in law, and I had to reevaluate. And I sent myself back to school and ended up pursuing technical writing of all things, right? I said, what can I do with my communications background that would get me into the space of technology? And it was the early 2000s and the tech boom was happening. And I wanted to follow some of that lead in communications, tech writing. And so here I went off to learn C+ at Northeastern University, and I landed a internship at IBM in Silicon Valley, which is all the way across the country. And I was so excited. I was so excited to get out of Boston, to go to a different coast, to start a different career. And IBM was really just a fantastic place to grow up, to learn, to just try everything. They invested in talent and young talent in such wonderful ways. They sent me to management training. They did all this wonderful 360-degree view of me. And I was 28 years old, leading teams of global professionals who had multiple years in the business. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I loved learning. I loved learning leadership as a discipline. But then maybe 10 years down the line, I thought to myself, do I want to be in technical writing for the rest of my life? And the answer was no. And it was too dry, too less interesting than perhaps folks can imagine my marketing career has been since then. And I found mentors and friends who would say, hey, we can't take everybody out of the lab, but we think we can take you out of the lab. And you can talk to customers and you can be customer facing. And we went and we did demos in Turkey and South Africa and all over the world. And I learned so much. And I loved my sales and marketing partners. And I decided that's where I wanted to go. So as soon as that passion aligned, my career really took off. I decided to leave IBM. I went to BMC Software. I spent a lot of time in B2B marketing. I was given opportunity to lead a group in the mainframe of all spaces. So here I am, 30-something young blonde woman leading mainframe professionals and marketing in a 55-year-old plus average age industry. So lots of challenges, lots of fun, and really learned a ton from there, and went on to work at Intel in wonderful roles in the data center space, leading regional marketing for Canada, US, and Latin America. I speak Spanish. I have a great affinity for the region. I love that so much. And I really had such a wonderful time there. And then when the opportunity presented itself to further my career and become group vice president at Spectrum, moving entire industries, moving across the country, as oftentimes in my career, I thought, hey, why not? Let's take a leap. Let's take a chance on me. I know that I can do this. And my lovely family came with me, and here I am. So
I
that might
love
be
it.
a long story, but those are some of the pathways.
I love it. I love it. And so everybody's probably thinking, holy wow, that is an incredible career. I would love to share with this group what happened now on the other side of that spectrum while all that was going on. So, can you talk a little bit about your non-work life during that same journey?
Sure. Yes. Let's see. A couple of things happened. I had a starter marriage along the way and ended up divorcing, really feeling so grateful that I had the independence and like groundedness of my career. Right. I thought, oh my gosh, thank God I'm still working. I'm always investing in me and I'm still in this. Right. Because there were opportunities to either not be doing that, to be having children, to give up on that space. Thank the good Lord that I did not. And then had some years as a single person traveling the world, putting all my energy into work, really focusing on me and what brought me joy, living on the beach in Santa Cruz, and eventually meeting my now husband and really enjoying that journey too. So I think to myself sometimes, oh my gosh, wow, we packed in a ton in the 7 years that we've known each other because we met later in life, right? So we dated for a significant amount of time. We got married. We had a baby girl. We moved twice. He became a CEO. He finished his MBA. I kept advancing in my career, and we had a baby boy a year and a half ago, and weddings and Christmases and all the things in between, right? And so we've really packed it in. And sometimes I think, oh, geez, I was making up for lost time and I'm a little bit tired. But
And I so appreciate you being vulnerable with us because I think people often leave that side behind. And we're whole people, we're whole humans. And all of those things affect how you're showing up in all points of your journey.
yep, absolutely. And I so appreciate you asking, Esther, and you really asking the people you talk to about their full journey.
Yeah, yeah. What did you realize along that way were like systems you needed? And how did you even start operationalizing systems? Like, when did you know you needed to implement systems? And then what did you even do? Or how did you start to operationalize your life?
I think I really started thinking about teams and building systems that could support my life when I had my first child and I had to go back to work. And so I'm on maternity leave and I was looking at starting a new role as a VP at Intel with a baby while pumping breast milk and like trying to balance this whole thing. Sorry, TMI, but I thought I need a nanny. I need a backup nanny. I need a weekend nanny. I need a cleaner. We didn't live near family, so we needed a lot of support in that way. And my husband actually is a really great systems thinker. He was COO for a time, and he's like always saying, you got to build the team, you got to build the systems. And I was like, okay, we're going to do that for our home life too. And we had a lot of like fits and starts and tried different things. There are different websites like care.com or whatever that could be really helpful. Nanny placement agencies cost an arm and a leg, but wouldn't it be great if you had someone vetting all of these people that could come into your life and just supply those to you? I wish I had something like a Geoffrey back then, but
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that to everybody that is
yeah.
on. Was there a point where you were like, okay, how we're doing it has not been working. Now I've got to do something different. And for you, what worked versus what didn't?
Yeah, I have wonderful girlfriends in the Bay Area who were in similar situations or trying to find their path. And they had suggested to me maybe use this outsourcing model or an assistant model. And I tried for a time someone who could come and virtually orchestrate your life, right? That was the promise. So they could design date nights or they build in the fun, right? Because we were not having a lot of fun, or give you recipes and do the grocery shopping lists and then get that working in your Instacart and things like that. But it just really felt like something else I had to manage, like something else I had to put a lot of time into, and another employee that I had to really, it wasn't a burden lifted. It felt pretty heavy. So that didn't help us that much. But I will say to folks that I haven't grocery shopped since 2020. I avail myself of Instacart and all the things, and I'm always shocked at my women friends who don't. I really haven't cooked a meal for my family, and you guys might say, oh, that's so sad. But since my daughter was born, she's 5.5 now, whether that's DoorDash or husband grilling, like that's how the food is brought to our table at the end of the day. And it's some of the things that you have to give yourself permission to do, right? My time is better spent elsewhere. And I've learned that over time.
Oh my gosh. This actually takes me to one of our rapid fire icebreaker questions that I'm going to ask everybody to someone answer. And if you wouldn't mind answering it in the chat, what is one thing you never thought you would pay to outsource, but you are so glad you did? So I'm going to ask that again. What is one thing you never thought you would pay to outsource, but you are so glad that you did? If you wouldn't mind putting that in the chat. Carolyn, I'm going to throw that over to you. I will tell you mine, if that's all right.
Yeah, please.
Home organization.
Ooh,
That
I
was
love
a
that.
game changer for me. I've always thought of myself as a pretty, I don't know, clean and
Very
like
organized.
stuff. Yeah, clean, organized, things are put away type person. But when I paid to have somebody come in and professionally organize my home, that changed everything for me. That changed the way I live, that changed the way I pack, that changed the way I get home from trips and unpack. it literally changed everything for me. I don't know. So I would love yours, Carolyn.
That's awesome. No, I have to try that. I haven't tried that one yet. I'm still doing like the box shift from the garage to the all by myself for the seasons and the changing of the wardrobes. I think what surprised me the most is I used a travel agent to plan my sabbatical trip with my family to Italy. And I've been to Italy many times. I studied poetry in Rome. I love Italy. And I just didn't have the time to do all the logistics and the planning. And thank God I let it go because I could have lumbered through it and tried, but they brought so much more to the table. And we had such a wonderful, magical trip for 3 weeks. And I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do it.
Amazing. I'm going to read some of the ones that are in the chat. Trail planning. Ooh, that's actually a really good one. Also, picking up dog poop, picking up after
That's so
anything,
funny.
picking up after a dog. We have 3, by the way. So anything to do with picking up after the dog, outsourcing. Sasha, chef's kiss to you. Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind, can we dig a little bit deeper into what were some of the things that did work really well for you? So if you're thinking about some of the systems that you went in and implemented that did work out, and can you like unpack how you did it?
Yeah, no, I think relying on other people to take care of my children was really a hard one. And it can be hard at the beginning of the day when your son is crying and you have to hand him over to someone else. I relied on my networks. I made sure I did all the vetting and the background checking and was really comfortable with the people I'm letting into my home and letting take care of my child and now children. And I've had wonderful luck. So I've had 2 nannies in about 6 years, and one moved with us from California to Connecticut to help us with the transition, and then just recently went home. And it's really been a blessing. It's been a blessing and really something difficult. And I think that a lot of women struggle with. And I just think to myself, I love my babies. I love spending time with my babies, but I am just not built to be a full-time mom. And it doesn't fill up my cup in the way it needs to fill it up. And I need to be a working professional in the world and stimulated and around adults and in this corporate game that we're in. And I love it. I love that part of me and I don't want to lose that part of me. And it's a constant battle. But I love the name of this series, Esther, is really just outsource everything but love. So I love my children hard at the end of the day. And I love them and I squish them and I cuddle them. And they're well-rounded, lovely children who know that they're loved by both parents and their village of people that take care of them.
That's
I don't know.
beautiful.
Let's think about another one. What's another one that I've done? Oh gosh, handy people, task rabbits,
Yeah.
unpacking, packing, oh, all the things. I do need a professional organizer though. I love that.
Oh, game changer. Everything has a spot. Everything has a spot. This comes now to our next rapid fire question. Let's see. What is one thing that has brought you back the most amount of time? So anybody on the chat, if you want to go ahead and, or anybody in the group, if you want to put that into the chat, what's one thing that has brought you the most amount of time back that you have seen has brought you the most amount of time back? I would say one thing for me that I outsourced that I felt brought me the most stack of amount of time, but also brain space and cognitive load is laundry and ironing.
I love that. I see someone
Right?
else doing the laundry one in the chat,
Oh my
right?
God. Did somebody else? Yes. Gotta say, yes, outsource it with the kids. Great one, Sasha. Sasha's on a roll today. I have to say, there is something about laundry for the entire household for the whole week piling up on a couch somewhere in the house versus it just getting done and also getting ironed and hung back up in the closet. So it's just ready to wear, ready to use for all parties. Just talk about brain offload and everything. I don't know, Carolyn, what was been that thing for you?
That's amazing. No, because I spend so much time still doing the laundry. I do my laundry. I do my husband's laundry. I do not do the kids' laundry. Thank goodness the nanny does the kids' laundry because that's like a whole mountain. But you're right. Why not? Gosh, I got to outsource that too fast.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Yeah, I
Um,
mentioned ordering food, grocery shopping, like that can be 3 hours a week minimum, right? Like for someone to go on a Sunday and spend their precious Sunday afternoon time or doing weekend time where you could be doing something really that's wonderful for you and your family or for you personally. to spend it in a grocery store just drives me nuts. So I'm like, nope, not doing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. And it adds up over time, right? So groceries plus laundry and picking up after the dog, taking the kids
Mhm.
here, taking the kids there. Over time, it starts to really add up. And that can take away, like you said, from quality time with others. I've asked this, or we talked about this already. So I'm not going to ask this third rapid fire question, but I will throw out this question. If you could look back and you could tell younger Carolyn, the things you know now, and give that person a bit of advice on how to really shed that second shift, what's one piece of advice that you would give her?
I'd tell her to try to shake the guilt, right? Just shake it earlier. Don't carry it. Nobody's out there judging you. Everyone's just trying to survive this life themselves, right? But we put ourselves on to these high standards or hold ourselves to these impossible standards, right? To be the perfect employee, to be the career person, to be the breadwinner, maybe, or to be the perfect wife, daughter, mother, friend. And it's just too much, right? Nobody can do all of that. And this Pinterest world that we live in is just unsustainable. Let it go, child, as soon as you can. That's what I would tell me.
Amen to that. I haven't read it yet. I just bought it, so I will be reading it. Emma Greed's new book. And she talks about in the book being a 3 hour mom and letting go the guilt, excuse me, of being a 3 hour mom. Like 3 hours, you're dedicated,
I
you're
love
doing
that so
it. But
much.
then outside of those 3 hours, all right, I need a break. I need somebody else hold said child, somebody else make the meal, somebody else give me a bit of a break. And I appreciate you also acknowledging it's really important to let go of that guilt because we're human. It can only take so much.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that so much. And I only have 3 hours probably with my children. So that's perfect. I have 1 hour in the morning and I have 2 hours at night, like before they go to
There you
bed,
go.
maybe even less with my little one. So I'm going to have to pick that up for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Carolyn, I so appreciate you being so transparent and so raw and honest with all of us because this isn't easy. It's real life. And creating systems that can help you really take away as much of that second shift and operationalize that is incredibly important. So many gifts that you gave, right? Number one, as much as you could outsource, there are those available, right? Like whether it's food delivery, whether it's groceries, whether it's planning and things, being sure to go ahead and allow yourself to take care of those or take advantage of those systems, incredibly important. Number two, I heard you say it's really, really important to let go of the guilt
Hmm.
and allow yourself to be able to just, all right, it's okay to leverage these systems, which is so important to do. And then number three, remember, hey, wait, we're only human. We're only human at the end of the day. It's okay to try these things and it's okay for some of them to not work out. But it's really important to at least give yourself the opportunity to go ahead and try a couple of these things to operationalize your life and to go ahead and let the systems take over. So I
Absolutely.
really appreciate you sharing. I really appreciate you sharing.
Sure.
We're going to quickly open it up for some questions. I think we had some from, let's see, we had one of our folks hop back off. I see Amy is also on. Amy, are you still there? Amy might still be on mute. Amy is still on mute. But I will throw out a quick question for you. Where have you ever seen a scenario where you're at a bit of a crossroad where outsourcing something versus doing it yourself, or you maybe went to outsource something and you realize, wait a minute, this is not working out, and you had to quickly pivot? Do you have a scenario where you've had to do that and what you ended up doing? Did you take it on yourself or did you re outsource?
Oh, let's think. I've spent a lot of time moving around California, now recently to Connecticut. And I think what it's so silly, but building furniture, I can do it. I can hang drywall. I have pulled popcorn ceilings off. Like I was raised in a construction pit of a Victorian house, right? With my electrician dad doing everything himself. Like I know how to do the things. But for me to let it go and to pay somebody else to do that is really hard. It sounds silly, but it's really hard because I can do it. Why would I pay good money that I could be putting food on the table? This is just all the mental model that happens, right? And you get someone to come and help me, and maybe they spend 3 hours hanging shelves and they charge you $200, and you're like, oh my God, I could have done it myself. And you're still playing around with the junky shelf. And that's really frustrating, but then you give it a go the next time because it's not the right place to put your time and energy. And so that's something I have worked through.
Oh my gosh, couldn't agree with you more. I feel like I've had those times where I'm like, I'm outsourcing this, but I'm noticing I am monitoring the person that I've outsourced. And now that's stressing me out, making me absolutely nuts. Which at the end of the day, I think, again, what makes the most sense is still two, because you still get that time back. And it isn't something that now is occupying your time, mental space, other than trying to manage the person that
Right.
have to
It's an
like
exercise
outsource
in
it.
letting go continually. Life is
Oh,
an exercise in letting go.
like it kill me now. Another thing I would throw out there to you is, have you ever seen scenarios where you have outsourced, but you've maybe been made to feel bad about it from either outside sources or where? And where have you seen that from?
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes. Friends or family or people will do the little side eye comment here or there, right? Oh, you're gonna travel with your nanny? Oh, you're gonna take her on the plane because you can't do that by yourself for 4 hours? Oh, yeah. No. And so obviously mine's a lot around nannies. Everybody's different. My brother and his wife were young when they had their babies. I'm not so young and energetic. That I know my limits. And then you just gotta let it brush off your shoulder and say, yep, that's what we're doing. My family is doing this.
Yeah, so true, so true. There's another study that talks about the shift in cognitive load as well, and the fact that even that quick 5-10 minutes to, hey, let me check on the nanny really quick, or let me give that instruction, or wait, let's make sure that she's creating this for dinner for the kids or this for lunch for the kids instead of this. While it might be a quick 5-minute text or a 2-minute text, the real cost is the 2 hours worth of work that follows that, that actually is a little degraded by at least 30 to 40%, because your mind has, it takes at least that 2 hours to fully come back to context switch back to what you were doing prior. And so that means that 2 hours of work that's right after that quick text that you sent is somewhat degraded or has been like taken up from that. Have you seen any of those scenarios, or have you had any stories of where, holy crap, that context switching has caused any challenges for cognitive load for you?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm so glad you said it and you said it so well because it is about immersive work. And some of us, we have to do deep thinking and we're in strategy or we're in decks or we're leading our teams and we're super focused. And even just today, I came back up and I came up for air and I realized, oh my gosh, my husband's taking my daughter to the dentist. How did it go? Like, it's got to be sedation dentist. She has to get cavities filled. Like, I'm a failure as a mom because we haven't been brushing our teeth like every day for twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever you're supposed to do, right? So there's all this guilt, there's all this thinking that's happening as I'm texting my husband, as I'm saying, like, how did it go? He's giving me incomplete answers. So I'm getting frustrated, right? As husbands do. And then it takes about 30 more minutes to get to shift back in. And it happens all the time, right? So I'm just so grateful that when I give my children to my trusted caretakers, I can really leave them for the day. And I don't have to monitor if she's picking her up or where they're taking them to the next activity or when they'll be home and when they'll be fed. I literally don't think about that. And I work from 8 to 6 or 8 to 7 or like whatever it needs to be. And I'm really focused. And that is such a gift. And that is something that you design for yourself and you give yourself and these people on your team give you. And it's really important.
Yeah, I love that you also mentioned the people on your team also give you. And I think the gift that executive women often have is they can look at both their personal life and their professional life in that same way as systems. How do I take this and create an outcome? And who could be part of making sure that outcome can actually get delivered? Speaking of which, one of the questions that came from the audience was, can you talk about like how to evaluate a system that could be outsourced? Is there a system that you use to then say, all right, I'm looking at these things, I've hit a point, I'm seeing an opportunity to create a system that can then be outsourced. Is there a process you use? Maybe it's a framework that you've used in work in creating outcomes that maybe you've now also brought home.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think what I try to do at work is always evaluate my time being spent on the highest value bit, right? Am I putting my time and efforts and energy behind the most important things? And then also at home, am I putting my time and effort against the most important things? And at times I found myself moving boxes around for hours on end on the weekends. That's not the most important thing. That might give me a little bit of joy because I'm organizing or I'm purging or whatever, right? But I'm missing time with my kiddos or I'm missing me time. I'm missing a time that I could go for a run or I could get my health in, right, in a different way. And so I think when I notice, okay, I'm working on something pretty low level that like I don't need to be working on, I try to think about different ways to do it. I also notice when I'm bugging my husband to do something over and over again, because I obviously don't want to do it and I want somebody else to do it for me, but he's not picking that up because he's also a very busy professional trying to be a dad. That's what, okay, we're going to outsource that because I'm not going to worry about it not getting done anymore and get that off my list. I don't know if I have any system. It's more like a feel. You got to feel your way through your weekends, design your week with a little bit of fun. I really try to be intentional about that. Make a fun weekend reservation and make sure you have something to look forward to and those things. But there are the nights like last night, I think I was up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., managing the text from the daughter's school, right? Or teacher appreciation is next week. And gosh, those things catch me off guard all the time because I forget. I don't plan. It's not on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen, right? And so I'm like, okay, put on the calendar, buy flowers, put on the calendar, get gift cards, do the things that help my daughter at school that sometimes trip you up.
Gotta love that. I think the main thing that I heard from what you shared is number one, the self-awareness to almost predict, hey, I'm starting to nag my husband about this because clearly I don't want to do it and I want someone else to do it, but I'm having to nag them because they also don't want to do it. You know what? Problem solved. You're not the problem. I'm not the problem. This is something that needs to get delegated. Or even just recognizing, hey, look, I know myself and I know this is a thing that in future me, I don't want her to worry about. So, what can I do now for future me to be able to make sure future me has fun time? Future me is probably not going to be aware of things that aren't on future me's calendar. What systems can I put in place to make sure I set future me up for success? And it's like you're caring for yourself later.
Thank you, Esther. I love that. And I think we do that in terms of money or retirement savings or like we plan for future you, right? But you also have to plan, do I want to be resentful at my spouse and nag them all day? Or do I want to have a nice, happy marriage with them for the rest of my 30 years? Do I want to be healthy and put in a half an hour here or there and exercise? Or do I want to have those repercussions later on in life when my body is not doing what I need it to do? Right. So you got to set future you up for success. I love that.
So true. So true. No, I totally appreciate that. And I think being able to be honest with ourselves about it, to then be able to now give back to future self is the really important part. It's a really important part. Oh my goodness, Carolyn, I so appreciate you really digging into just your honest experience here and just being really transparent with all of us. Thank you so much for giving us that time. I do want to share with all of the audience that are on, you do not have to figure all of this out on your own. Know that you don't have to figure this out on your own. And please note that everybody that attended today and will also receive an email the specific code to be able to delegate some of these things directly to Geoffrey. Now, Geoffrey is a home services platform that allows you to outsource everything but love, even those pesky coordinating things that have to happen at your kid's school. Geoffrey concierges can take that over for you. You've heard of house managers, you've heard of personal butlers. Think of that when you think of Geoffrey. Yes, the whole spin on our favorite 90s TV show. But Geoffrey allows you to completely outsource everything but love. Coming May 15th, we'll be launching our brand new app. and the ability to subscribe to our dedicated concierge services. But before May 15th, I said March 15th, May 15th, before May 15th, between now and then, everyone that subscribes, any one of our existing subscribers or any one of our folks that do go in and subscribe, they are grandfathered in to have their own dedicated Geoffrey concierge for 1 year of their subscription between now and May 15th. Now, we're going to put in the chat the link to be able to access that, as well as a specific code that's available to everybody that joins the Chief series. And you'll use that to be able to get a $125 gift card off of your first subscription that you go ahead and sign up for. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the platform, if that's all right.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yes, so we can take a quick look at it. So let me quickly go to the site. 1 second. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see this. And let's see, can you see my screen?
There it is.
Okay. And when you go to the link that has been shared in the chat, you'll notice there are 2 things up here, Geoffrey On Demand and Geoffrey Executive. Now, Geoffrey On Demand is where we got our start. This is where you can go online, choose from the 30 plus service providers that we've already vetted, already checked for their background, insured, rated by local San Francisco Bay Area neighbors. And you can go in and find any services in home services that you might need, pet care services, whether that is grooming or dog walking, personal services, whether it's dry clean drop off, personal trainers, personal assistants, getting meal prep for the week, or even family services like I need a babysitter to get here by tomorrow. You can easily go into the platform and fully schedule based on their availability and your needs today and schedule that as needed immediately. Now, the other thing that is also available is this is where we got our start, as I mentioned, but where we're moving towards is Geoffrey Executive. And so with Geoffrey Executive, it is where you now have systems that are fully managed. So in the previous Geoffrey On Demand scenario, you still managed your life, right? But you're outsourcing and you are the project manager. With Geoffrey Executive, you're assigned a dedicated concierge where they manage everything for you, from home to pets, kids, personal wellness, family care, and even caring for elderly parents. And today, you can see here are packages that are set in systems, whether it's the Home Easy button or your healthy pet care system, or even daily turn down service. And you all know when you go to any hotel, everyone loves the turn down service where they come back to your room and re-jizz it up and clear it up. Having this every day at home is a game changer. But each one of any of our systems also comes with your own dedicated concierge. Think of this as your own personal house manager that's dedicated to you to make sure that any of your services or what else you might need goes without a hitch, and they fully manage the systems for you. So when you go in to any one of these systems, you would then select what your timeframes are for availability. So for what your windows might be. And then here is where you would enter in your unique code. And that would then get you your gift card for $125. So you'll get that all via email. Just know that all attendees of any of our series sessions for the 4 weeks are able to go ahead and take full advantage. And hopefully that means we can help you outsource everything but love. Now, Geoffrey is today available in the San Francisco Bay Area, but we are soon going to be expanding out to the rest of California and then the rest of the United States. All right.
Woo-hoo! Get to New
Yes.
York, Esther.
We're coming to New York. We're coming to New York. I cannot thank you enough. Carolyn Your incredible journey has been so inspirational to all of us. I'm so grateful you took this time. Thank you for being so transparent and honest, but also sharing with us some key nuggets of where we can start to operationalize our lives and start to put things into systems. So thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.